Hello, and welcome to episode 17 of the Mindful Knitter podcast. My name is Claire, and I am your host. If you are new to the channel, welcome. I'm so happy to have you here with me today. This is a channel primarily about knitting, but I do talk about some other crafty, fibery things like weaving or spinning, I don't know, some sewing. Now some sewing. So we get up to all kinds of stuff, but it's mostly about knitting and some crochet and a lot of yarn. And then there's also a mindfulness component as well. I will post meditation videos or mindfulness videos sometimes. There was a mindfulness segment in the podcast every week, but I haven't done that lately because we had a make-along going on. I might bring that back in, trying to decide if I'm just going to keep those practices to separate videos, but we'll see. But yes, welcome to the channel. I'm so happy to have you here, and welcome back if you're returning. I'm so happy you come back to hang out with me every week or every 2 weeks or however often it is. It's been a minute since I did a podcast episode. I think it's been 2 weeks since I posted a video at all. So sorry for my mysterious absence. I also feel like my voice is not really warmed up this morning. This is the first time I'm talking this morning. So here we are. Yes, places that you can find me. I'm a little rusty, so I'm trying to unrust myself. But places that you can find me on social media, I'm on Ravelry as a Mindful Knitter Pod. We've got a group on Ravelry, the Mindful Knitter Podcast group. We've got a few threads on there, including the Hygge Make-Along thread. The Make-Along just ended last weekend on the 20th, on the first day of spring. So that's no longer going on. We'll talk about that again in a little bit. But yeah, come join us on Ravelry. We're a very friendly bunch. Other places you can find me on social media is Instagram as the.mindfulknitter on Instagram. And I'd be happy to connect with you on there. And you can always send me an email as well. It's clairethemindfulknitter@gmail.com. All this information, including show notes, information about what I'm talking about today, all of that is included in the description below the video. So if you just click the little arrow below the video, that drop thingy that drops down when you click on it, got all of the useful information on there. So welcome. I'm coming to you from the southeast of the United States, where I live with my husband, Alex, our 2 Great Danes, Murphy and Nolly, and my 2 hamsters, Crema and it was Darcy. It's now Daphne. She got old enough for me to determine whether she was male or female. It's really difficult with really young hamsters. I don't know if you're familiar with this, but she finally got old enough where I could more accurately identify her biological ness, and she is now Daphne. I considered keeping it Darcy because Darcy can work, I don't know, for basically anybody. It's not a particularly masculine or feminine name, but I just I liked Daphne because she's so pretty. She kind of makes me think of Daphne from Bridgerton. So I was like, your name's Daphne now. And then maybe there'll be a Darcy in the future. But yes, anyway, digression. Welcome. Today's episode is going to be pretty packed because it has been a month or more since I filmed a podcast episode. So I have so much to show you. Got some finished objects. And I have works in progress, upcoming things, happy mail, some vlogs over the next few weeks because I'm doing a bit of traveling the next few weeks, and so I've got some vlogs coming up, just so much. To touch base with the Hygge Make-Along before I start showing you yarny stuff, Just so everybody knows, that did end last week on the 20th of March. And happy spring. Happy belated beginning of spring. It's only been a week, so it's not that belated. But that ended. So we have so many beautiful finished objects in the finished objects thread on our Ravelry group. I would encourage you to go look at it if you are wanting to look at some pretty yarn things. Knitted, crocheted. Some people submitted their handspun. Yeah, there was a lot of really great stuff submitted, so go check it out. And you can still chatter on the chatter thread. But I will be doing a separate prize video for that because this episode is going to have so much in it already. I didn't want to add in like the prizes portion for that. And I do still need to draw for prizes because it's been a reason why I haven't podcasted in a month. Life's been a lot over here. So yeah, I'll get that done and up for you guys. Hopefully this week. I think it will be this week. I don't really see any reason why it shouldn't be this week. And I'll get the video up and I'll show you guys all the prizes on that video as well. And of course, I don't know, I feel like that makes sense. Yeah, and as soon as people contact me about the prize that they've won, I can mail those out to you guys. So hooray, successful first make along, hopefully. I was less involved than I wanted to be, than I originally planned to be. But I'm usually not super busy in the winter, and this winter I just happened to be surprisingly very busy. So I did post a few videos. I wanted to post more videos for the make along. But now we've got a kind of an idea of like what all is involved with a make along and hosting one. And so the next one will be even better. So hooray. All right. I should have brought some water with me. I did not, so that was my fault. So my voice will catch up. So first finished object, I'm wearing it, as you can maybe guess. This is the Pluma shawl. It is by Colorway. I don't have anything to show you with the name, but it will be in the description. Colorway is a pretty common or well-known brand, I think. They sell yarn. I've never actually used any of their yarn, but it looks really lovely. And they've got some great free patterns on Ravelry as well. This was one of the free patterns on Ravelry. I think it's a pretty popular pattern. A lot of people have made this. I made this out of Nanette Wake Studio yarn. I always have Nanette Wake Studio around me so I can show you the label. Actually, I don't have any. No, okay, here's one. Nanette Wake Studio on Etsy. This is different yarn by her, and since I'm showing it to you, this is Ice Castle. This is not in her shop anymore. But her yarn is amazing. She does small batched, hand-dyed yarn, so once a colorway is gone, it's gone forever, which is pretty fun, honestly. So everything you knit with her yarn is extremely unique because it will never, that colorway will never happen again. So this colorway was Flax Flower. It's actually 2 different skeins of flax flower, and I did the body of the yarn in the 100-gram skein, and then I did the lace border in a 50-gram skein. I'll talk about that. Oh, well, I'll talk about it now so I don't forget. The 2 skeins were pretty different. They were from, you know, the same dye lot. She only does the 1 dye lot for each color, as far as I'm pretty sure that that's how she does it. There's no dye lot on her little labels. Yeah, it's just, she just dyes a few skeins in a colorway, and then that's it. And then she does another colorway. So these were from the same dye lot, but the colors, the skeins were so different, and I don't actually have them here to show you, unfortunately, but you'll be able to see a little bit when I show you up close the item. It's more of a shawlette than a shawl. As you can see, it's not super big. I did not end up using all the yarn. I used around 100 grams, maybe a little bit more. And this was fingering weight yarn. All her yarn is pretty much the same specifications. So this was 437 yards in 100 grams. And her fingering weight, her regular fingering weight is 85% superwash merino, 15% nylon, very, very squishy and soft. It's some of my favorite yarn in the entire world. I love Nanette Wake's Studio. I can't tell you enough how much I love it. So this is what it ended up being, all blocked out. So it still smells really good. I used the Soak, I think it was like the Celebrate wool wash. I got a little sample of it from a yarn shop. They just threw it in for me. Yeah, so this is this is my Pluma shawl. And I will have more pictures of this posted on my Instagram page so that you can see more detail of it. But I think it is beautiful. I love the feather lace, which is where, of course, the name Pluma means feather in Spanish. So that is where it gets its name. I have worn this several times since I plucked it. So it is not, it's still like laying pretty well though, I think, for me having worn it like 5 or 6 times since then. So it's definitely, it's keeping its shape, but this is my first time doing so many different things. This is my first time doing a triangular shaped garment item. This is my first time doing a lace shawl. I did like a really easy lace cowl, but it was just the same repeat the whole time. So this is my first time doing like a lace pattern where it like changes as you go. My first time doing a picot bind off. There were a lot of firsts for this, and I think that it turned out beautifully. I'm so happy with it. So happy. I definitely made some mistakes. But I don't think that the mistakes detract from the beauty of the shawl at all. I think it's really pretty. But you can kind of tell here that this is a lot more bluey purpley, and they're more muted colors. And then when we get to the feather portion, these colors are a lot more vibrant and there's way more green. So I kind of figured that I would take more than just 100 grams for this whole shawl based on what I had seen on Ravelry from the yardage it recommended and then what people ended up using. So I just wanted to play it safe, and I had 150 grams of it, and I decided that I would rather, instead of me running out of this color yarn somewhere in the lace and then have like a part of my border or a part of my lace like be such a very different kind of coloring, yeah, I guess coloring, because they're from the same dye lot, but yeah, I didn't want like just a random splotch of like vibrant colors. So instead of risking that, I was like, oh, I'll just do my whole lace border in that other skein, and then I'll do the picot, well, I guess the garter border, and then the picot bind off, I'll do it back in this original color so that it kind of sandwiches, that lace. And I think that ended up working really well. You can kind of see, I think it's kind of, yeah, you can see it on camera pretty well. Yeah, that I think it all goes together. I don't think that that like is abrasively different. I think that it blends nicely with the rest of the shawl, and I'm very pleased with it. So yeah, so this is my Pluma shawl and my Nanette Wake Studio flax flower yarn. My first fingering weight shawl. Just lots of firsts. Thus far, I've really only used fingering weight for socks. So, ta-da! I am pleased. It's incredibly soft. It's hard to describe how soft her yarn is. It's so good. And all of this information will be linked down below as well. So, hooray! I'm so excited. It makes me really, really happy. Yeah, I'm so excited by it. I'm visiting my niece today, so I might wear it to go see her because it's a little chilly. Okay, so I'll wrap up with that one because we've got so much to get through. I won't talk about it for a million years, but this was a fun pattern. I recommend it to you if you would like to try your hand at a fairly easy, simple kind of lace shawlette. It's a lot of garter, and the garter was made less boring by the fact that I had a really beautifully variegated yarn. I wouldn't say that this is like a super intense variegation as far as you look at it and it makes your eyes go crazed. It's not like a rainbow of colors. It's all in the same color family. So I think that it keeps, I don't know, it didn't detract from the lace, I thought. It's not so variegated that you lose the lace. And it's not so variegated that it's like, I don't know, it's a pretty like, I think, what would the word be? It's not like a subtle variegation, but it's not like a super crazy wild variegation. So I think that it, I don't know, you don't lose the pattern for the variegation. At least I don't think so. So yes, anytime I'm doing something with like lots and lots of garter, I do not like to use solids or semi-solids or tonal yarns. I need a little more variety than that for myself. But you do you. So this was a success, I think. And it's nice and warm. It's so nice. So next finished object. I actually don't have tons to show you guys for finished objects this week, even though it's been a month, because there was an entire week where I did no knitting in that time. And then there were 2 weeks where I did very little knitting. So it's been a month. So these are my next finished objects. It's a pair of socks, obviously. This is Brediculous yarn. I know that I have the label because I did not get rid of it because I was being responsible and not throwing away my label before I showed it to you guys. Okay, good. Because I didn't want to like forget any important information. This is Brediculous hand-dyed yarns, also on Etsy. She has some really, really beautiful colorways. And her colorways, she does have several things that are still available. She has some like colorways that she always has. So I don't know if this is one of them, but it might be. You could go see. This is Beach Vibes for the main body, and then the heels and toes are Knit Picks Tonal Stroll in Poppy Field. I think it's Poppy something. I think it's Poppy Field. So like golden poppies. I think Icelandic poppies are maybe a yellow poppy. I don't know. I've got yellow poppies in my garden, so that's why they're yellow. I think I've heard before, like someone asking, like, why isn't it red if it's poppy? Well, they're yellow poppies, and this is actually pretty close to the color. So yes, that's what the yarn is. It's a Addy Mini fingering weight 4-ply. It's 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon. This was 92 yards and 20 grams. For this pair of socks, I used 2 20-gram minis, and I did have yarn left over. My socks are not super big. I have said this before in previous episodes. It does not take a ton of yarn to knit socks for myself, and I don't really have any explanation why. I don't knit shorty socks. I don't knit super long cuffs or legs, so maybe that's part of it. And I do knit a size small, but my feet are not super small lengthwise. I wear like an 8.5 US women's shoe. So 8 or 8.5. So I don't know. It just doesn't take tons of yarn to knit my socks. So I usually buy a 50-gram skein. And now I have discovered that I can buy two 20-gram minis to knit myself a pair of socks as well. So if you're new to sock knitting, or if you find that you always have tons of leftover yarn when you knit a pair of socks, maybe you only need 50 grams or 40 grams. I usually do contrasting heels and toes, or cuffs and toes, or what have you, so that helps. But yeah, so this is Beach Vibes, and I think it's really beautiful. It's this lovely variegation of the creams and the blues, and then these little golden speckles. I just think this is really, really beautiful yarn. I really enjoyed working with it, and I'm going to be taking these with me to the beach soon, which I will talk about later in the episode. This is my first time doing a German short row heel. It was not super successful. I have trouble with my heels, like getting really slouchy and moving around, and so someone suggested a German short row heel, which I had been wanting to try anyway. And they were thinking like maybe my heels are just too small for the normal heel flap and gusset. So I was like, okay, I'll try it on my next pair. So this was my next pair, and I tried it. I learned things. So this was the first sock in this pair that I knit. And as you can see, my contrast heel did not do what I wanted it to do. I didn't really take into account with this particular tutorial that I used. You knit the first part of your heel, and then you stop like in the middle, and then you knit 2 rounds all the way around. So I had picked up my main color to knit all the way around, but then when I got back to where I needed to start to do the cuff, I guess increases at that point, it was in this color yarn, and my yellow yarn was like way over here, and I guess I could have just carried it. I would have had a really long float, basically, but I didn't want to risk that while I was doing these heels for the first time. So I was like, I'll just have like a pop of color heel in the back, and this part will just be all the main color. Well, I got to about here, and then I was like, well, but this is not my first time. This is my second time using 2 20-gram minis to make a pair of socks. So I was still not super, super confident that I would have enough yarn to finish out the foot. So about here, I was like, I'll just go ahead and grab the yellow yarn. I'll just have a float. But it was a much shorter float at that point. So I brought my yellow back over, finished out the heel that way, and now I have a goofy heel, but I think it's kind of cute. It's kind of cute. I think it's kind of fun that these two don't match perfectly. I am obviously not super, super intense about my hand knits being perfect. Yeah, like this lace, I completely messed up an entire 2 or 3 rows before I realized like something's not lining up with the lace. And instead of ripping back a bunch of rows of lace, I was just like, I think I can fix this. So I did. I just kind of like read my lace and fixed it to get it back on track, which took about 2 rows to get things shifted back on track. But in the finished product, unless you know what you're looking for, you're not going to really see it. So it doesn't really matter to me. And these mismatched heels don't really matter to me. I'm going to wear these around the house. And even if I wore them out in public, I don't really care what people think about the socks I knit. It's not for them. It's for me. So these were my first German short row heels. And they were a learning experience. Another thing is in this tutorial, actually I'll show it to you this way. In the tutorial, he was talking about, I guess, was it wrapping your yarn around, I think. it wasn't really, it was sort of like a yarn over, it's like a yarn wrap. I don't know exactly what he called it. And he might have been calling it something different because he was German. I know a couple of ways he phrased things or things he said were, English was a second language. So I don't know if this is the way that we would normally say it in English, but I think like wrapping your yarn is a thing that you do. I'm not a knitting expert. I just really like knitting. That's why I have a knitting channel, not because I'm an expert in it. Anyway, by doing this, it was supposed to eliminate any holes in your heel. It didn't do that. It didn't do that at all for me. Yeah, there are definitely holes. I think it's worse on this side. It's definitely worse on this side. There are 100% holes. So that method didn't work well for me. I watched it so many times to make sure I was doing it right. I don't know if he was doing black magic or what he was doing, but what he did, I got giant holes. So I'm going to have to go back through here, I think, and just kind of like reinforce, I think with the yellow yarn, the Knit Picks Poppy Field, and just like reinforce back behind here, like on the wrong side, to fill in these gaps, fill in these holes, because I don't like them. They're not really causing any problems other than they're just offending me personally. So they're gonna have to go. On this one, I ditched the tutorial because basically you're just doing increases and decreases like within a short row. So, I put my little stitch markers and I just went based on memory with what he did, which was not difficult. You're just doing short row increases and decreases. So I was, I thought about the theory of what he was trying to accomplish with closing up those holes. And my thought was, well, if I just pick up stitches by picking up the bar in between my stitches, and twisting that and creating basically like double stitches that way, that I can then stitch together as I do, that round, the two like full rounds, and then like at the end as well, I can just knit two together for you. Then that'll close up those holes. Well, that worked pretty well for the first part of it. And then, you can kind of see, like, the holes are not, I've got like a seam here, but I don't really have true holes. There's a little bit more space than, in the normal stockinette stitch, but there really aren't true holes here. So it definitely worked better, but I think I know what I'm going to do differently next time. We're going to try it and see. And like in these corners here, I picked up the bar and twisted it to, pick up a stitch, which I then decreased later. That didn't work perfectly either. It worked perfectly on one side. It didn't work perfectly on the other side. I think I know why though. Yeah, and then we've got this whole thing with like, the contrast teal yarn then becomes a line across, and then I've got my main color yarn as a line across my heel, which is not super, super obvious in these particular socks, but it would be very obvious in different colorways, especially if you were doing like solids, and not super variegated, speckly sock yarn. So I think I know how to do it differently. I think I should probably just find another tutorial and stop making it up. Although my made up version worked a lot better. I don't know. Maybe he just possesses magic I don't possess, but I could not do what he was doing, which I've never experienced before in my life. And not just with the knitting. Usually if I watch somebody do something, I can replicate it. So, unless it takes them like, I don't know, just like vast amounts of skill. Like, if I watch somebody jump up 6 feet onto like a box hop thing, for example, like I'm not going to be able to do that because my legs are not going to let me jump 6 feet up. But for something like this, like I can usually replicate it just fine. So I don't really know what was going on. Maybe I was having brain fog that day or something. I have no explanation. But I did enjoy the German short row heel. The heel flapping gusset was getting kind of tedious. I've done now, what is it, 30 pairs of socks? Somewhere around 30 pairs of socks since August. So in the last like 6 or 7 months, 8 months, whatever. It's May, and in August I started knitting socks. So I've done 20, 30 pairs, somewhere around there. I don't know, I've lost track. And they've all been heel flapping gusset, so I was getting a little burnt out on that. Plus the heel doesn't fit me perfectly, so this was a fun, refreshing, different way to do a heel. I enjoy short row shaping. It's fun for me. I think it's kind of neat. I enjoy the process a lot. So I really did enjoy these. I just need a better way to make sure that these holes don't happen. And I need to wear these around a bit to see if they slip around on my heels or if they actually stay up nicely or stay in place nicely. We shall see. But these are cute. These are my little beach vibes socks. I don't think I have anything else to say about them. I feel like I said a lot. But I'm very excited about those. Those are lovely. Yeah, so those are my finished objects for this week. Oh, question for you guys in the comments. If you do have a really good tutorial for short row heels, German short row heels, if you could put them down in the comments for me, that'd be great. I would find that very useful. There might be some of you guys that would also be interested in some suggestions for those sorts of tutorials too, so you can help us all out by putting one down below if you know of one that you really, really like. Or you can, you know, email me, message me on Instagram or Ravelry, whatever. But I feel like I'm reinventing the wheel right now, which I don't mind doing. It's kind of fun to experiment and play around with your knitting, but yeah, it's not my favorite to try to do that. So, yeah, if you could help me out, that'd be great. All right, so, oh wait, no, I have one more finished object. Just kidding. This is a spinning finished object. So this is some yarn that I spun. It smells really good. I smell my yarn perpetually. This is some yarn that I spun out of Nanette Studio Fiber. This was her, I think, Rotten Pumpkin colorway. But I kind of think of these as my Peter Rabbit. This is my Peter Rabbit yarn because it reminds me of Peter Rabbit and his little like blue coat in the Mr. McGregor's garden. I don't know, the colors make me think of that for some reason. So yeah, this is my Peter Rabbit Handspun. And this was my, I think, my finest Handspun to date. I will have to look at the final measurements for it, but I think it ended up being about a DK, maybe slightly thicker than a DK. It's definitely a DK in some places, and then in other places it's more like a worsted weight. But I got the whole 4 ounces, which is over 100 grams. I can't remember how many grams that is off the top of my head, but I got the whole braid onto one bobbin, normal sized bobbin, which was pretty great. And when I plied it, it was also all in one bobbin. This was also my first successful chain ply. So I did a Navajo bracelet chain ply. I think Navajo bracelet. Sometimes I hear it called different things, but yeah, it's a chain ply that I did for the first time, which was really, really fun. So yay! There will probably be more information about that in a video for spinning that I'll be releasing pretty soon. But I just wanted to show that to you guys as well, because that was a finished object. The week that I was not knitting, I was doing some spinning. So hooray! New yarn. All right, so works in progress. Let's start with my Flora Daze shawl, which I have not shown you guys in quite a while. you know, I said this is my first fingering weight shawlette, which is true. This is the first one I finished. I did start this one on Christmas Day because this was my Advent yarn kit. And I just opened up my yarn every day of Advent. I didn't knit with it because I was knitting Christmas presents and things. So I started knitting with my Advent yarn on Christmas Day, and that was my like exciting Christmas Day adventure. So yeah, I haven't showed it to you guys in a while because it's my like long-term project that I'd like to get it done for this winter. So, you know, I've got like a year to knit it. So it's, some people are doing, you know, like scrappy blankets and stuff like that. This is my kind of long-term project. Sort of like a scrappy blanket almost. But I've added to it. So this is technically my first fingering weight shawl that I have ever knit, but I haven't finished it. So this is my first finished one. And look at how it is coming along. So when I last showed it to you guys, this stitch marker here shows where I last was when I showed it to you. So I have added on quite a bit since then. Yeah, I have added 3 skeins, 3 little 10-gram mini skeins since then. Some sort of dead bug. What are you? I don't know. I'll identify you later. Distraction. Yeah, so this is coming along really beautifully. So beautifully. Kind of show you a little bit of the colors. So this is knit with Emma's yarn. This was her Smalliday Kit for Advent Smalliday Kit for 2021. This is the bag it came in, which it lives in. And this is the Smalliday 2021 Super Silky Kit. So it is superwash merino and silk. I don't know the percentages, so I can't share that for you guys. Sorry, I could probably find it out for you at some point, but you could probably look it up too. I do have the information about all of this below as well. But yeah, this is the Flora Daze pattern by Laura Dobratz. It's in the description below. Yeah, you can buy the pattern on Ravelry. So I've got all of this beautiful rainbowy yarn that you can't really see very well. There we go, that's better. Yeah, all of this beautiful rainbowy yarn that will turn into a glorious rainbow shawl. And I am getting close to being 2/5 of the way through this puppy. So very exciting. I'm very excited about this. It's coming along wonderfully. And this yarn is just super, super fun and beautiful to work with. There's a very, very slight sheeny sparkle to it because of the silk. It is gloriously soft and squishy. This is softer because it's got more merino in it, and it's been blocked. This is probably going to be amazing when it's blocked. So, and then all of the fun colors are really, really cool to work with as well, because I've got like all of these really amazing fun colors. Yeah, it's just like, it's knitting a rainbow and it's glorious. So that's coming along nicely. You probably won't see it for another month or two because I'm like showing it in increment. I only show it when I've got like something substantial to show you guys on it. So like several inches, roughly 5 mini skeins of yarn. So about every 50 grams, I'll show it to you guys. Otherwise, I don't think it's very interesting to show you every week or every episode, since apparently I'm not posting podcast episodes every week right now. But that's coming along nicely. Next work in progress. Another pair of socks. I showed these on Instagram the other day and people were really interested in them, which is understandable because this yarn is beautiful. This is, oh dear. I left the yarn band upstairs. That was unwise. This is from Sheepyshire, or the Sheepyshire on Etsy. Super cute name, super cute logo. This is their sport weight yarn in the lily pad colorway. And since I don't have the band with me, I can't tell you the specifications, but I think it's 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon. I'm pretty sure. But yeah, this is the water lily colorway. And isn't that just so beautiful? I have one sock done, and I'll go ahead and show it to you because it makes me happy. Isn't that so happy and beautiful? Yeah, they do still have this colorway. It's one of their, I think, their regular repeat colorways, so you can get this from them. The toe is done in Knit Picks Stroll Tonal, the seashell colorway. Yeah, which is a thick enough fingering that it works well with my sport weight socks. Yeah, these are super fun. I'm doing the short row heel again on these to see what that works up like in these. The holes are less big. Again, I'm doing the thing where I'm like picking up the bar and creating stitches that way, and it is working out better on these. The holes are smaller, but they're still holes, and I don't know if maybe there's like a larger space, and I don't know if maybe like that's just how it is with these kinds of, with the short row heels. I don't know. Is that just something I need to get used to? Help me, guys. You might be wiser than I, or more knowledgeable about German short row heels or short row heels. But yeah, the holes or the spaces are smaller, but they're definitely still there, and I want them to not be. I don't know if you just close them up later. That's what I'm going to end up doing with these. Yeah, I don't know. So if you could help me out, I would really appreciate that. But those are really fun to knit. I'm really enjoying them. They're sport weight socks, so they go real fast. I knit one of those socks in one day. And then the other one, I've already got like that much of the leg and cuff done. So sport weight socks go fast. Yeah. Next work in progress. So how many have we done for works in progress? I think I've only got 3. Yeah, I usually only have 3. So this is my last one, and I'm hoping I can have this done this week. This is a shirt. It's actually from the We Are Knitters company. This is one of their kits. It's the Dive Tee. So as you can see, it's got that cute little, yeah, that cute little neckline. So cute. Yeah, sorry, I'm looking at it and it's like giving me, you know, like hints about what this will look like when it's done, which looks different than, anyway, I'll figure that out later. Yeah, so I'm doing this. I finished the back panel and this is the cotton. The yarn is We Are Knitters yarn in the cotton. It's 100% Pima cotton. This is the copper colorway. And it's 3 of these little cakes to make a size medium shirt. And this is my back panel. And again, a question for you guys, if you have any ideas how to fix this, because I definitely messed this up and there was no going back unless I was just going to rip back half of my work, which wasn't going to happen. This is in the back, so it doesn't really bother me that much, but it does bother me a little bit. You see it? Yeah. So, yeah. How do I fix this? The side is much wider than here, and it's the kind of thing, I don't want to give away the pattern, but it's not until you're binding off where the space opens up. So you don't know that what you've done is going to be a terrible mistake that's going to ruin everything until you're binding off. So yeah, so I'm fine over here. Oh, actually that does, no, that is kind of, that's so interesting. Okay, I'll figure that out later, sorry. So this is fine over here for the sleeve as well. This side did what it's supposed to, this side did not. And I'm showing you the wrong side right now. So how do I fix this puppy? What I'm thinking about just doing is when I'm blocking it, just like separating these out, because you can kind of see I already did that, trying to like get it to work. Like I can just separate these like out and like block it really, really hard. Maybe like right here to try to like open that up more so that it is kind of approximately the same-ish as this side, sort of. My hair is also really long, so this will probably be covered up part of the time unless my hair is up. But I don't really know how to fix it other than just blocking that real hard. Yeah. So if you guys have any ideas, you can tell like where the problem started. It was like over here somewhere where I didn't do some sort of increase or decrease the way I was supposed to with like a yarn over, and so I did it in the wrong stitch, and just later I was like, oh no, and I just moved it in like a row or two later, and that's where this problem was, because that needed to be consistent so that this could drop all the way down. Yeah, so if you've got any ideas for how I can fix that, please let me know. I'm making so many requests of you guys this week. I don't normally need this much help. Apparently I'm struggling this month. Otherwise, this is a very enjoyable knit. It goes fairly fast because this is, I think, a DK weight, and this knit on size 8 needles, US 8s. But yeah, I think that this will be a nice little cotton shirt for, again, while I'm at the beach, and then for the summer and the spring in general. I think I'm going to cast on the front panel today because it is knit front and back, and then you seam them together. I'm hoping I can get this done this week. I think that's it. Yeah, that's all for works in progress. So needle adjacent projects are that shawl that I told you that I was going to start last time. I did not start. Instead, I started my dive tee. So the shawl that I am going to start is going to be with these 3 beautiful skeins of yarn from Juniper Moon Farm. These are a glorious, I think it's Egyptian cotton? I think so. Israeli cotton. Israeli Mako, M-A-K-O. Mako cotton. With just a little bit of nylon. It's 24% or 94% Israeli cotton, and it's gorgeous, and it's the softest. I can't tell you. It's called Cumulus yarns. It's the Juniper Moon Farm Cumulus, because it's like a cloud. It is like a yarn cloud. It's glorious. I can't describe with words how glorious it is. But this is needle adjacent, because I'll just go ahead and tell you guys. I am going to be at, next week, I'm going to be at, well, next week for like a weekend, I'm going to be at a lake, like a cabin on a lake for a fishing / kayaking trip for my husband, my mother-in-law's birthday present. My husband and I were going to take her on like a fishing weekend for her birthday. Which is a few months late, but it was cold and we couldn't do it with her actual birthday. The weather was not, it was not the good time of year for that. So now it's spring and it's a nice time of year for it. So we're taking her next weekend. So I'm going to be taking my shawl with me. I might get it started this week. I want to finish my dive tee first, and then I'll cast that on. And hopefully I'll be able to get that done, I don't know, sometime soon, hopefully. the week after that, we're going to be at the beach because we haven't gone in a few months, and so it's time. I need to get back down to the beach. So that'll probably be what I work on while I'm there for the most part. I might work on some other things too, but I think that's going to be most of my beach knitting is working on this shawl. It is a lace shawl. I, again, was just woefully underprepared this morning because I had so much to do to get together for you guys that I did not have the pattern with me ready to show you. Usually I have my iPad with me so I can show you stuff, and I completely forgot it. So anyway, that is turning into a lace shawl. It is the original one that I had shown you guys like a month or so ago. I showed you guys several different options as well. I'm going with the original one because the weights actually did work out well. The yardage worked out fine for what that pattern calls for. So yeah, I'll give you guys more information about that as I am actually doing it. I know it's very unhelpful for me to just kind of vaguely mention it now, so sorry. But that's needle adjacent. I will probably be starting that this week. If not this week, then this weekend or next week, depending on how my other knitting stuff wraps up. But that's going to be on the needles very soon, and I'm very excited, and I can't wait to show you guys. Another needle adjacent item, I'm going to show this to you guys. I got it months ago, but I got it while a sale was going on, and then I put it away until beach time, and this is going to be my fun like beach present to myself for beach knitting. So what I got was from Happy Mermaid Yarn Company. This is their project bag. And this is the back of the project bag, which is very cute, but I love the front. Happy Mermaid Yarn Company, which just all on its own is the most precious name, and I am just very into mermaids. So I got this project bag for them. This is for my beach sock knitting. I got this beautiful skein of yarn. I've had this all put away for months. I haven't looked at it since I first opened it months ago. This is the sparkle sock yarn from Happy Mermaid Yarn Company. Isn't that so cute? And look, you can even see the sparkle. This is 70% superwash merino, 20% nylon, 10% stellina. It's a 3-ply. It's 402 yards and 100 grams. This is the Lotus Flower colorway, which I actually have not seen in their shop recently. So they might not have the Lotus Flower anymore. But look, it's so sparkly. This is going to be my first time knitting with a yarn that has stellina in it, and it'll be my first pair of sparkly socks. So I'm really excited. I'm really excited. There's something else in here too. Aw, they sent along a cute little goodie bag. That's so sweet. And there's the card. What's in my goodie bag? I don't want to ruin the sticker. Okay. I mostly didn't ruin the sticker. Oh, there's a little lavender sachet, and it smells really good. It smells great. You can smell it through the plastic. Got this lovely little bag of gummies. I wonder if I can eat these. Nope. Can't. So these are going to my husband. I have food allergies, so. Oh, and this is lovely tea. Strawberry Rhubarb Parfait by David's Teas. That's precious. And this really cute little tin that you can reuse. That's super, super sweet. Aww. How fun is that? That's really, really precious. And then she threw in a couple of mints. Like little after dinner mints. So cute. Oh my goodness. Aww. Yay! Oh, and they threw in a little like postcardy thing too. That's very cute. I got this apparently around like a Christmassy sale because it says Happy Holidays. That's really, really cute. So I ordered this around Christmas time, so like 3 or 4 months ago, and now I'm finally going to get to knit with this. This is going to be my beach knitting for socks. I'm gonna get all of this like wound up into a ball and all put it together for knitting as soon as we're in the car driving to the beach. So excited. It's kind of like our spring break, I guess. And I need a little bit of break. I have not really had any time off work for several months. Even my weekends have been, I've either been working during the weekends, all weekend, or at least Saturday, or I've been like extremely busy or traveling on the weekends. So I have not gotten much downtime since Thanksgiving. Christmas season wasn't too busy for me, thankfully, but anyway, yes. So that's needle adjacent as well. Not this week, but next week. Very excited about that. And then I'll show you one other acquisition before I get into my most exciting acquisition. I'm showing these to you guys because I did not show them to you last time, and I said that I would show you this time. So I was performing at a con about a week ago, or no, about a month ago. I'm a dancer, and I was performing there. So, you know, in between performances, I went to vendors. I was also teaching a workshop, like a dancing, like a kids workshop, and things. So anyway, in between performing and teaching, I checked out the vendors hall and got some stuff. So I got this cute little, how cute is this sticker? I love this so much. It's so cute. And I got this little ceramic mushroom. How cute is this mushroom? It's a little ceramic pink mushroom with little, I think it's like, some of that looks like sphagnum moss. I don't know what the other part is. But yeah, it's so cute. She hand makes these and makes them into little mushroom jars. So these have been sitting in my living room on my piano so I can look at them every day, and they make me so happy. This will probably end up in my knitting journal or my making journal, craft journal. This is just out for my enjoyment to look at all of the time. So I said I was going to show them to you last time because I forgot, and now I've shown them to you. I just wanted to share that handmade joy. Okay, so this last acquisition is so amazing. I thought about doing an unboxing video for it, but I didn't because I knew that I would be too emotional. And so I didn't do an unboxing video. So I opened this up a couple weeks ago, and I'm going to show it to you now. You will understand in just a moment. This was a gift from a viewer. Sneak peek. I'm not going to get emotional because I've had a few weeks now for it to sink in. This has actually been sitting as a display in my living room for a couple weeks, and I just look at it every day. I definitely teared up / cried a little when I received it and when I opened it. And I just realized there's actually a second part to this that I didn't bring with me today. Unfortunate. I will show it to you next time. Yeah, so this is one of my just beautiful, glorious, wonderfully kind, and incredibly, unbelievably generous viewers and friends, Chelsea. She's just completely amazing, and I'm absolutely blown away, like absolutely blown away. Her just generosity and kindness are just unbelievable. She and I have emailed back and forth, and we've been chatting, and she's come to knit night, and we've become friends over the last few months. And she's just the kindest, sweetest person. And I feel so incredibly grateful to know her. And I won't get super emotional. But she wanted to gift me some handspun yarn because I had mentioned in an episode a few months ago that I wanted in 2022 to knit with some handspun because I'd never had before. And then I got my spinning wheel as my Christmas present for my mother-in-law. And so I've been spinning yarn, but I haven't knit with any of my handspun yet. I have only knit with handspun one time. I did buy 2 skeins of handspun from an Etsy seller, and I knit one of them into a pair of socks. But anyway, through that, she spins yarn, and so she asked if she could send me some of her handspun so that I could have some to knit with over this year, since I really wanted to knit with handspun. So generous, and I said if she was absolutely sure, I would love to accept some of her handspun yarn. She was like, I have too much of it. I need to put it somewhere. It needs to go to a good home. So I was like, I will adopt some of your handspun. And then she was like, well, can I also send you some for the podcast and for giveaways? It's like, yes, that would be really amazing. Thank you so much. So she, of course, like, I just imagined that she would send a couple of, like, you know, a skein for me, a skein for the podcast to give away. She did not. Her generosity apparently knows no bounds. Also, we're going to be doing, okay, so I'll do that next after the handspun. She's just so generous. I have to, like, go through everything. So I'm going to show it to you guys. It's beautiful and it's amazing, and I can't get over it, and my mind is still very blown that somebody would be, I don't know, would want to send me such just a beautiful, generous, kind gift. And I'm so glad that and grateful that she sent things for you guys too, for giveaway items. So, okay, I'll show you guys the yarn. That's the part you actually care about, but I just am so blown away by this. Firstly, this was the beautiful card that she included. I won't show you the note inside, but this is the lovely, lovely card that she sent with it. So I've kept that kind of like propped up in my little display, so I can see that. So first, I will show you guys the skeins that I'm gonna keep, I think, because, yeah, I'll show you guys what I'm gonna keep first, and then I'll show you guys the giveaway / prize yarn. So first skein that I'm going to be keeping is this beautiful, I think there's probably some silk in this. I can't really tell. I'm gonna ask her what is in each of them, but this beautiful green, and her handspun, look how like beautiful this is. She does such a beautiful, beautiful job. And I don't think she's selling handspun, but Chelsea, you might consider selling some handspun because this is so beautiful. Oh my goodness. It's just beautiful. I have no words. It reminds me of a mystical Tolkien forest, and I love it so much. So, okay, so this one, this makes my heart so happy. All these blues and greens. Oh my goodness. And then it's got these like little bits of like a bronzy, almost coppery kind of color in little places. This is beautiful. I think this is the first one that I saw when I opened the box, and I was like, oh my gosh, I love this. And it's got like this like cobalty blue every once in a while. I love that. I'm also kind of obsessed with this skein. Look at these beautiful browns and aqua, teal, some like really light blue. This is just completely beautiful. I love these three together. I love them. They are going to become something. I don't know what they're going to grow up to be yet, but they're going to grow up to be something together. And it will remind me of friendship whenever I wear it and when I'm working with it. I couldn't resist keeping this one as well because I adore this skein. This has so many of my favorite colors in it. That is just so incredibly beautiful. Part of me wants to keep it with these so that they all stay together, but part of me wonders if these three should become something beautiful and if this should be its own beautiful something, maybe paired with another skein. It's just so crazy to me how even. Yeah, it's so even. She just does a beautiful job. Like, this one could be from a store. It's so beautiful. It's so even. Chelsea, how? Yeah, so these are the ones that I'm keeping. I love them. They make me so happy. I will probably continue to keep them out where I can see them because I don't want to put them away. And I'll probably keep them with the card. I'm sorry if this is weird, Chelsea, but like, I seriously, like, you've made me so happy and just so grateful. I feel very blessed. So your gift is probably going to stay out where I can see it. And it reminds me of, I don't know, how much good there can be in the world. You've reminded me of the goodness in the world. Okay, so these are mine and they're staying right here. I love them. But beautiful lady sent some happy things for you guys too. I was really tempted to keep this one as well. I was actually really tempted to keep two of these, but I really felt like I could not keep too many of them. So this beautiful, isn't this beautiful? Does this not look like springtime happiness or even like a harvest season? This is beautiful golds and yellows and greens, and the barber pulling is just so pretty. Yeah, and it's like kind of luxurious feeling. I don't know if this one's slightly silky too. It's really hard to tell. I will ask her what the fiber content is of these, but this is going to be a giveaway / prize skein. I really was tempted to keep this one too because this one is just like amazing. I think she said that her friend actually hand spun this one. So Chelsea didn't do this one. It was one of her friends. But isn't that incredibly, incredibly fun? It almost makes me think of like festivals, some sort of celebration. This is really fun. So I was really tempted to keep these two as well, but I can't keep all of them. That would be greedy, and I can't. She's been so generous and kind by sending me these. I really have to share that with the world. I can't keep them for myself. This is also really lovely. How incredibly fun is this? This one is going to be one of the Hygge Make-Along prizes. So I promised you guys that I would have a handmade item that was being sent that would become a prize for the Hygge Make-Along. This is going to be it. How springy and happy is that? That's perfect for a Hygge Make-Along prize that ends on the first day of spring, or that ended on the first day of spring. Is that not incredibly fun and happy? And it's soft and fluffy. And again, it's so even. She's done a beautiful job. She's much more experienced at spinning than I am. So yes. Oh my goodness. How is this possible? So she sent 7 skeins of her hand spun. Well, one was spun by her friend, but it was in her hand spun stash. So like 7, how generous and kind can one human be? I really just am blown away. I was freaking out about it for like a solid 48 hours, and my husband was both amused and happy for me. And he was, you know, by the end of it, I think he was a little bit like, okay, it's just yarn. And I was like, just yarn? Just yarn? What do you mean? So, yes, so that's that. But it doesn't end there, because apparently she's the most magnanimous person on the face of the planet. She also sent me 2, I think it's braids, of fiber for spinning that one of her friends dyed, and they're upstairs with my spinning wheel, so I don't have them with me. I will show them to you guys next time. They're so beautiful. When I opened them up, I was like, how did she know? They're perfect. Like, if I was going to be picking colors, like, those are the colors I would have picked. She did a perfect job. And they are gorgeous. They are so, so, so gorgeous. I will show them to you next time, because I don't have them. So here's a bit of a tease. But they're gorgeous. And again, the generosity completely blows my mind. Completely blows my mind. I won't get emotional. Okay. She also sent me, because again, I don't understand how one human being can be so lovely. She also sent me, she and I have been talking for a while about doing a share a pair from Mandi's Makings. So if you're familiar with Mandi's Makings, she has an Etsy shop for hand-dyed yarns. And one of the things she does is these share a pair sets where you can knit a pair of socks with your friend and they match. So it's two sets. Each set has 2 50-gram skeins in some sort of coordinating color, so that you each get 100 grams of yarn for knitting a pair of socks that match. So she and I have been talking about doing that, because I had thrown out on the podcast a couple months ago that, hey, I want to do that. Does anybody want to do that with me? Because I don't have any real like knitting friends in my life. I have a friend that I had taught how to knit recently, and her mom just started knitting recently too, and they're both lovely people. Neither of them knit socks though, because they just started knitting, like just started. So I don't have anyone I can knit a pair of socks with. So Chelsea and I have been emailing about that and trying to coordinate like which ones we wanted to do, and we both really liked this set. And so she bought it and just sent me my part of it, and, you know, wouldn't let me pay her back for it because apparently she's the most generous human on the face of the planet. So this is my Mandi's Making Share a Pair set. This is a one-of-a-kind, nameless set. I do think she has more of these on her shop, in her shop right now. This is the, let's see, it's 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon. Each skein is 50 grams. They are 231 yards in 50 grams. So 462 yards for 100 grams. Yeah, and it's just this beautiful, like, just a light pink and blue, like a tonal light pink and blue. And these are going to be gorgeous socks. Chelsea, I will let you know when I'm getting close to being ready to start on these, so that we can coordinate them and we can knit them at the same time, or if you just want to knit them separately, and whatever you'd like to do, I'll message you about it. I know you'll watch this at some point, so I'll message you about it. Yeah, so these are going to be our share a pair of socks, which I'm so excited about. Oh my goodness. Yes, so she sent these to me as well, because we're going to make our fun matching socks. We'll probably do 2 different socks, but we'll have matching yarn for our socks, which is so fun. Oh my goodness. So I know I've already thanked you, Chelsea, but again, thank you so much. I am just incredibly touched, like incredibly, incredibly touched by your generous and kind gift. I'm going to treasure this Handspun, and I'm going to love every single minute of knitting with it, and I'm going to treasure the item that it becomes for probably until I die. So thank you, and thank you so much as well for donating, gifting some items to the podcast and to the channel for giveaways and prizes. Yeah, so thank you so much. That's my really big acquisition to show you guys this week, this month, this millennia. I don't know how an acquisition could get any more exciting or amazing than that. I'm totally blown away. So I'll stop gushing about it, because at some point that will get annoying. So I don't want to annoy you guys. Yeah, thank you, Chelsea. You know, and I suppose on that note, you know, if you guys ever do want to send me anything for the podcast, for giveaways or prizes, if you have a small business, or, you know, if you're wanting to de-stash something and you want me to use it as a prize, or, you know, whatever, you can always message me, and, you know, I can give you my P.O. box to make that happen. You know, I appreciate it very much. So yeah. My cheeks hurt from smiling. I will stop. Okay, gathering myself. Those are the yarny things for today. We'll get into some knit chat now. I already mentioned that I'm going to the lake and to the beach, and so we have my projects I'll be working on while I'm there. Because I'll be going to the beach and the lake, I am going to be gone for a bit. So I'm probably not going to be able to film another podcast for a couple of weeks. So instead, I think I'm going to do travel vlogs, some travel knitting vlogs, which a lot of people seem to like. I really like doing them. So I think I'm going to be doing that. So you will get a lot of, probably quite a bit of knitting in nature footage. Especially while I'm at the lake, but I anticipate at the beach as well. There'll be a bunch of naturey footage. But yeah, so there'll be that to look forward to over the next few weeks. Knitting at the beach and knitting at the lake. I'll also be visiting one of my favorite yarn shops while I'm at the beach. So I'll have that in that video as well. Yeah, as far as filming podcast goes too, I don't know if I can do it weekly at this point in life. I was doing it every single week for several months, but things have just gotten so busy. I am doing more dissertation stuff now. I am going to be taking on more stuff at work. I have a promotion of sorts kind of coming up, and so I'm just going to be having less time to film. The past few weeks, I haven't had tons of time to film because we've been traveling on the weekends. And then I was sick for one of the weekends. Yeah, and there were just various things that kept coming up. So I might be posting a podcast every 2 or 3 weeks for a little bit until things calm down again. There's also not tons to show you guys for a little bit because, although I guess it accumulated, so I probably could have done a podcast in there, but whatevs. Yeah, but like I said, I didn't knit for an entire week because I was really busy. I didn't have any time to knit for a week. I would sit down to spin a little bit in the evenings, but that was it. And then, yeah, so there will probably be fewer podcasts, but I've got more different types of videos, or I have more videos that are of a different nature as well that I'm going to be posting, like some spinning videos and some sewing videos that I'm going to be posting soon. And of course, like the meditations and travel vlogs and knitting out in the wild kind of stuff. Yeah, so there will be a wider variety of videos, I think. But I'll still do the podcast too, because I don't know, that's really fun for me to get to sit down and talk about my knitting with someone who actually cares about my knitting, versus everybody else in my life. My husband is kind and sweet, and so he will listen to me about my my knitting, and he'll be excited that I'm excited, but he doesn't really care about knitting, which is fine. He cares about other things. So yeah. And then I already mentioned that I will post a separate video for the Hygge Make Along prizes and the prize winners. So be on lookout for that. I'll probably post on Instagram too when I've got that out so that you guys can find it easily. Yeah. And then I think too, I'm going to go ahead and plan this week for our Tuesday for another knit night. We do knit night on Zoom. I'd love to do it every 2 weeks, but I'm kind of having to like do it based on schedule. So letting you guys know this week, which on Tuesday, which is March 29th at 8 p.m. Eastern time, we're going to do knit night on Zoom. So if you would like to join for knit night, you can send me a message on here. You can comment, you can send me an email, send me a message on Ravelry, on Instagram, and I will send you the video link information, the invite for knit night. We have a really great group that has been coming, and they are so much fun and so sweet and so helpful and so creative. They're very inspiring for me. Yeah, it's so helpful and knowledgeable, and anyway, wonderful group of people. So we'd love to have you join us. We're doing knit night this week on Tuesday. So come join us. Join us. Yes. I think that is pretty much it for knit chat. And I don't think I really had anything super interesting to talk about for why I'd been absent the last few weeks. I feel like I had it in my mind and now I don't remember what it was. So yeah, illness, busyness, travel, basically it. Before I log off for today, real quickly, very exciting. This might have been the first thing that I had mentioned, but I know that like a lot of people that are just watching for the knitting stuff don't care about this, but personal life excitement. My sister-in-law is in labor at this moment. I'm not at the hospital because COVID's going on, so I'm not allowed to be at the hospital. And actually, I don't know if they want us to visit for a month or two until after the baby is born, because I think they want to give the baby a couple months before they allow visitors to come and potentially bring their germs. I think we'll be wearing masks when we visit too, just to, help keep babies safe. But yes, so my fourth little niece / nephew, this will be my third niece, but I have a nephew as well. So my fourth child in my life is being born today. She possibly has been born while I've been recording this, so I'm going to check all my messages as soon as I'm done recording. But welcome to her. Welcoming her into the world. I don't know if they want me to mention her name on YouTube, so I won't. But I'm very excited about that. And I think I'm going to share with you guys next time some projects I'm working on related to her birth. I already showed you guys the baby blanket that I crocheted for her. I might make her something else too. We'll see. I might embroider a onesie for her. Because I've got some blank organic cotton baby, like newborn. No, I don't think they're newborn. I think they're like 0 to 3 months or something. But like little onesies, and I embroider them for the kids sometimes when they're born. So maybe I'll embroider something for her. In any case, I'm gonna knit. I knit a pair of socks for my brother, as his like, yay, you're a daddy again socks. I think I'm gonna knit a pair of socks for my sister-in-law as well. And whenever I go visit them to see my new niece, I think I'm gonna give them their, mommy daddy socks. Just as a like, hey, you did it, and you're probably very sleep deprived right now, and here's some hand knit socks. So yeah, very exciting. I'm super excited. So on that note, I will probably sign off now and check my messages to see if she is born or if my sister-in-law is still, pushing slash contracting. Yes. So thank you guys so much for joining me today. I don't think I forgot anything. If I did forget something and it's important, I'll put it in the description below. All of the yarn and the projects and, everything I showed you guys today that has information to show you, I will put that information down in the description below. So thank you again for hanging out with me. I really enjoy getting to do this with you guys. I hope you have a wonderful weekend, wonderful week, a wonderful whenever you're watching this. And I will see you guys again soon. Bye.